Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Tim McGonigal. Shannon Newth is off tonight. There are just 3 new coronavirus cases in Montana, bringing the total to 442. This weekend, the reopening of Montana begins with the lifting of some coronavirus-related restrictions, as outlined yesterday by Governor Steve Bullock. Yep, in an interview with MTN News Chief Political Reporter Mike Dennison, the governor made it clear that the state and its citizens still have an uncertain road ahead to full recovery and something that resembles normal daily life. Dennison sat down with the governor and has more.
Under phase 1 of the reopening, church services and many retail businesses can reopen this coming week, and restaurants and bars on May 4th, but still with strict social distancing protocol. It's already being asked, when do we reach phase 2 with fewer restrictions, and phase 3, which is almost back to normal? Governor Bullock says that depends.
We were taking steps to isolate and social distance long before most states. That's what got us to this point. So I think that phase 2, we need to be looking at what is happening with additional COVID-19 positives. Is it around the state? Is it completely regionalized or in one individual area?
That means testing and tracing the contacts of those who have tested positive for the virus. Right now, anyone with COVID-19 symptoms should be tested, but there's still not enough tests for those without symptoms, even if they've been in contact with someone who tested positive.
We'll continue to work on amping up testing capabilities and opportunities.
Still, local public health officials are tracing contacts and asking them to isolate and get tested if symptoms do appear.
Just as I've worked in every corner of the state to say, don't ever tell me that supply constraints are what's keeping you from testing someone that's symptomatic. We'll be working closely with local health departments to say, if you need additional resources, you tell us and we'll work to get them for you.
Anyone visiting from out of state is still being asked to quarantine for 14 days after they arrive, and that wouldn't be lifted until phase 3. Does that put the summer tourism season in jeopardy? Bullock said he realizes the tourism industry is hurting, like a lot of businesses. But he said he won't be encouraging people to come to Montana until he's sure it's safe for Montanans. And again, that means watching the data.
This is a rapidly dynamic and changing time, so we have to see what's happening on the ground in our communities as we talk about what the next steps are and when we might reopen our state entirely for out-of-state tourism. At this point, we have to see what happens through phase 1 to see how our communities react and how COVID-19 reacts.
One thing we can say with certainty, it looks like social distancing in one form or another will be with us for some time. At the Capitol, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Well, the state's largest union is urging members to encourage school districts around the state remain closed for the remainder of the academic year. The Montana Federation of Public Employees, which includes teachers, wants districts to continue distance learning. On Wednesday, the governor issued his plans for the phased reopening, and that plan allows schools to reopen on or after Thursday, May 7th. MFPE says schools are not designed for social distancing, and administrations should use this time to make a plan to allow students to safely return in the fall. Earlier this month, the Office of Public Instruction, the Board of Public Education, and the Montana Public Education Center advised districts to continue distance learning through the end of the year. Officials with the Cascade City County Health Department who agree with the governor's three-phase plan to open Montana. MTN's Caitlin Boycell explains why.
None of us have experienced in our lifetime.
On Wednesday, the governor announced the guidelines for phase 1 to start on April 27th for individuals and on May 4th for businesses to reopen slowly.
Of course, the concern always is, will that reopening process allow more people, to potentially become infected with this virus?
But Cascade County Health Department agrees with Governor Bullock's phase 1 plan.
When they're first initially allowed to reopen, it will be at a 50% capacity. They have to have tables spread out and no more than 6 people at a table. Business has to take into consideration, or restaurant, how they operate already, what kind of staff they have, and if they can stick to that 50%, the cleaning guidelines and limiting of number of people, and still operate sufficiently
Cascade also says personal care businesses, this includes hair salons, nail salons, barbershops, or spas, should separate their booths with social distancing.
Personal care type businesses, they are really encouraged to wear cloth masks, both for themselves and their patrons. When they're coming in, they still have to comply with the 6-foot distancing between kind of setups. So if there's a chair for a haircut, it's the individual giving the haircut and the individual getting the haircut have to be 6 feet away from another station.
The health department tells us this phase 1 reopen is the right next logical step.
We haven't had a big spike in cases in 14 days. Our overall numbers have been going down.
They also tell us they are prepared if there is a spike.
Right now we have the testing capability. Our hospitals are prepared. Our local health department is prepared to respond.
Cascade County Health Department tells us that they're going to be putting out guidelines to help with phase 1. Reporting in Great Falls, Caitlin Boycell, MTN News.
The City County Health Department says those guidelines should be up sometime tomorrow. We'll update you once we get the information. Well, part of the phase 1 of Governor's plan to reopen Montana allows for places of worship to open this Sunday, as long as they follow strict distancing and cleaning guidelines. Now, many churches have made the decision to continue with virtual services rather than open their doors. The Helena United Methodist Ministries will be continuing to worship online for at least the next 2 Sundays. The Episcopal Diocese of Montana will hold virtual service until at least May 4th and are actively working on a plan for each location. The Roman Catholic Diocese of Helena will also continue to stream Mass, and they're allowing parishes to submit a plan for reopening following guidelines set by the governor. Parishes will not open unless they can provide adequate spacing, social distancing, and cleaning, and keep Mass gatherings to less than 10 people. Religious leaders MTN spoke with said ultimately they're focused right now on looking out for our neighbors.
Making the utmost effort to follow those guidelines for phase 1 exactly. No wiggle room. And that we want to do this right for the health. We do not want to jeopardize the health of the people.
And remember, you can find a full breakdown of the governor's 3-phased plan on the reopening of Montana on our websites. Well, our Storm Tracker weather team has spent the day tracking spring showers and even a few thunderstorms across the Treasure State. Brandon Michaels joins us now. Brandon, we're tracking some widespread rain, but it's not very heavy.
Yeah, for the most part, it's been light showers with just a couple of little heavier thunder showers mixed in, but most of us haven't picked up that much in the way of rain. Some spots that did pick up a little more include Cutbank and Lewistown, but just a couple hundredths of an inch for places like Great Falls and Helena, but it has been nice to get a little bit of moisture. We've been running a little bit on the dry side, and there's still plenty of moisture, plenty of rain left to fall. You can see widely scattered showers all across the area here on the Doppler network, and a couple of little shades of yellow in there too. We've got some heavier showers embedded in what is widespread light rain. Looking outside though, it's not all bad news. We've got a little bit of blue sky actually in Helena right now. The temperature is fairly comfortable. The wind, not so comfortable. It's gusting to 31 miles per hour in Helena, 57 degrees though. That's not too bad. Definitely more cloud cover in Great Falls. Looks like probably some showers off in the distance there. The temperature in Great Falls is a little bit more comfortable right now. And we're likely going to be seeing some more showers as we head into the evening hours, even tomorrow as well. And we'll have more on that later.
All right, thanks, Brandon. A long-running gridiron tradition has been canceled due to coronavirus concerns. Coming up, leaders explain why there won't be an East-West Shrine game this year.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 5:30 news continues on Montana's news leader.
Welcome back. COVID-19 continues to wreak havoc on the sports scene in Montana, and today one of the oldest high school football all-star games in the country was called off. The 2020 Montana East-West Shrine game, scheduled for July 18th, will no longer kick off due to the coronavirus concerns. This summer would have been the 74th consecutive playing of the game, which is the #1 fundraising shrine game in the country. Game organizers notified players, coaches, and cheerleaders this afternoon.
Some pretty tough phone calls you have to make. Some of these players, in the past that you talk to them, it's one of their greatest memories in high school and all the way through. And some of the friendships you make. This is the opportunity when they get to play with that person that they played against for 4 years. And a lot of times these guys become best of friends later on in life. So those are difficult calls to make.
The Shrine Game hopes to still honor those selected by providing jerseys for players and packages for the cheerleaders. We have more information on that at montanasports.com. Well, in other news from around Montana, Broadwater County authorities have identified a body found south of Townsend as a man reported missing from Helena last year. Broadwater County Sheriff Wynn Meehan says the state crime lab determined the man was 48-year-old Philip Pites. Pites was listed as a missing endangered person, last seen December 2nd in the Helena Walmart parking lot. Meehan says a rancher discovered the body Friday morning in a field just off of Highway 287, about 4 miles south of Townsend. He says the body had been there for a long time, so it was difficult to identify a manner of death, but he believes it was not a natural death. Meehan says the Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Office and the Montana Division of Criminal Investigation will also be involved in what he called a complex investigation.
I'm hoping that people will see this and say, hey, I remember, or I saw, or something, and they will share it with us, and we can move forward to try to find the family some answers on what happened to their loved one.
If you have any information on the case, you're asked to contact Meehan or lead investigator Deputy Michelle Frost at the Broadwater County Sheriff's Office. Well, one man was injured after a pickup truck crashed into a house in Great Falls this afternoon. It happened on the north side of the 200 block of Skyline Drive Northeast just after 1 p.m. Initial reports indicate the pickup truck drove through the front yard of the house and crashed into the corner. Damage to the truck appears to be substantial. There's also damage to the house. A man believed to be the driver of the pickup truck was placed on a stretcher and into an ambulance. He was conscious and talking at the time. Utility crews were also at the scene. As there are reports that a gas line may have been ruptured, there's no word yet on how or why it happened, such as excessive speed, a medical issue, or a mechanical failure. Responding agencies included Great Falls Fire Rescue, Great Falls Police, Great Falls Emergency Services, and Energy West. We'll update you if we get more information.
Well, we do have a few more showers heading our way, but as we head into the weekend, things are going to start to clear up. We'll have the forecast up next.
Now, here's your Storm Tracker weather forecast with meteorologist Brandon Michaels.
We are tracking showers and thunderstorms all across the area here this afternoon and evening, and you can see lots of green. It's mostly just these light showers, but I've got those lightning strikes highlighted. They're popping up here and there. Pretty much any of us at this point could see a weak thunderstorm roll through. Nothing all that significant, maybe a strike of lightning here and there, some thunder, and very small hail. We had some less than pea-sized hail in parts of Great Falls, I know. Earlier into the day today, we're going to zoom out and just kind of show you the big picture. It's statewide. It's not just our area. Everybody has had at least the chance for a little bit of rain or mountain snow or thunderstorm activity through the day today, and we're going to keep at least some of that around through the evening and even into the day tomorrow. So let's take a look at future track here. Still tracking some showers, maybe even some heavier rain or weak thunderstorms possible. A good amount of clearing to the northeast, but you guys are going to still be in the line of fire as we head through the night tonight and into tomorrow morning. So still tracking some shower activity tomorrow morning for northeast Montana, maybe even some light snow around the mountains toward Helena, between about Helena and Great Falls. And then as we head into the afternoon, good amount of sunshine tomorrow, but with that little bit of heating, probably some scattered showers popping up here and there. I don't think they're going to be nearly as widespread as what we saw today, but we still can't rule out the chance for a little bit of rain or weak thunderstorm activity for our Friday, and then things really clear up as we head into Friday night, and in general are going to stay clear through at least most of the day on Saturday. So we're getting into some nicer weather just in time for the weekend. Now with the showers moving in and a good amount of clouds today, temperatures are running a little bit cooler than they have been. It's 47 only right now in Lewistown, 57 in Havre, 56 in Great Falls. Glasgow's at 64 and Jordan is at 61 degrees. Overnight lows tonight, fairly mild still. We're not going to see a very chilly night at all. 42 in Glasgow, 44 in Jordan, 36 in Great Falls, and 38 in Helena. That means even if we do see some more showers through the night tonight, at least at the lower elevations, it is going to be rain. We're not really looking at any snow except for some of the higher terrain. As far as high temperatures tomorrow, a little bit warmer than today, but still not as warm as it was earlier in the week. 62 for Jordan, 58 for Glasgow, 53 in Lewistown, 58 for Cutbank, and also Great Falls and Helena coming in at 58 degrees. Winds not a huge factor tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit calmer. Places like Helena have been breezy today, and we might see some brief breezy periods, especially with those showers moving through. But in general, the sustained winds through the day on Friday are going to be a little bit weaker than they have been lately, so that's some good news there. And in some more good news, the extended forecast is actually looking pretty nice for us. Why is that? Well, these showers are moving away, and we're seeing this nice big ridge move in. And as that happens, it clears our skies, brings warmer temperatures to the forecast, and we'll definitely see that as we head into the weekend. So let's take a look at that weekend forecast right now. Starting with Great Falls again tomorrow, slight chance for some showers, getting a little bit breezier by Saturday, but nicer. Mostly sunny skies, some clouds late in the day. 65 degrees, your high temperature on Saturday. A little bit more cloud cover and a little bit breezier for Sunday with a high of 64, back right up to 65 on Monday. Then as we head into next week, we really start to see some very nice weather. Good amount of sunshine on Tuesday, a mix of sun and clouds for Wednesday and Thursday, and temperatures jumping all the way up into the 70s. So very comfortable for this time. Via our 7-day forecast now for Helena. Again, slight chance for a few showers tomorrow. Good amount of sunshine on Saturday with a high of 67. Just as warm on Sunday and pretty much staying the same all the way through about Tuesday. And then again, we tap into that warmer air as we head towards the end of the forecast. We're looking low to mid 70s for highs by Wednesday and Thursday. Tim?
Well, we've heard from Republican governor contenders on how they deal with the crisis. Coming up, it's the Democratic hopefuls' turn.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 5:30 news continues on Montana's news leader.
Well, less than 40 days until Montana's primary election, and the outcome in the Democratic governor's race is anyone's guess. Lieutenant Governor Mike Cooney facing a rigorous challenge from political newcomer Whitney Williams as the impact of the coronavirus overshadows the race. MTN's Jay Cohn caught up with both candidates as they gear up for the home stretch.
It's a campaign season like no other. The coronavirus pandemic sending campaigns to the sidelines, forcing candidates to scramble to connect with voters.
So we use Facebook, we do Facebook Live, we do Zoom, other sort of video conferencing technologies, and then just picking up the phone and talking to as many folks as we can.
Who could have possibly envisioned the day when the old tried and true handshake with a voter would be a thing of the past?
I like doing that. I like getting around and traveling around the state, and all that's gone now. And frankly, it's not as fun. It's not as enjoyable, but we just have to adjust.
The new reality of COVID-19 is a game changer for everyone. Williams, though, believes it also brings new opportunities.
There is a sort of a fear factor, but I think there is also an optimism about, what will a moment like this sort of teach us as we go forward? We have a chance to rebuild in the way we want our society to look, right? And so I think that we have real opportunities here to make sure that we're doing everything we can.
One of the jobs of the next governor is going to be bringing us out of the coronavirus economy, and where, and the challenges that it's leaving us. And so I think the next governor is going to have to be very well prepared to pick the ball up and get running with it immediately on day one. And I would argue that puts me in a pretty strong position. Since I've been in this job, I'm working side by side with the governor on this, and there won't be any on-the-job training. I'll be able to just keep working hard.
Montana's response and rebound from the pandemic is the issue of the day, and both Democratic hopefuls believe they are well positioned to win come November.
How can I win in November? Well, I can win because, first of all, I think we're right on the issues. I think that, I have a record of fighting for health care, Medicaid expansion, making sure that, 100,000 Montanans have access to health care. We're fighting to reduce the cost of prescription drugs. We have a plan for that. Whereas the other side has voted to repeal the Affordable Care Act, and they've voted to gut Medicaid. I think there's some real distinctions between it.
At the end of the day, my hope is that people will say, we need a new generation of leadership. We need someone who's tough enough to sort of stand up to what is going to be, unfolding crises ahead. And we need sort of new ideas and new thinking around how we problem solve in government. As my father, Pat Williams, used to say, there's a genius on every block. And I think that's true. I think we've got all the ingenuity to roll up our sleeves and get this state and this economy working again.
So it'll soon be up to voters to decide who's the best person to lead Montana out of the shadow of the pandemic. Those ballots for Montana's first all mail-in election will be arriving in a mailbox near you in early May. In Billings, Jay Cohn reporting for MTN News.
We'll be right back with a final look at weather.
Come back, a little bit more sunshine tomorrow. Still some scattered showers, even a few rumbles of thunder across the area. Temperatures cooler, but definitely comfortable. About 40 degrees as you head out the door tomorrow morning, hitting the 50s by noon and staying there through the afternoon.
Finally, some newborn ring-tailed lemurs and meerkats at a Greek zoo will have to wait to meet an adoring public. That park remains closed as part of the coronavirus lockdown. The animals were born after the zoo was closed to the public. The zoo welcomed 4 baby meerkats and 5 lemurs. A zoo spokesman said the lack of visitors and resulting loss of income was making things difficult for the zoo, but so far it's managed to source most of the necessary food from local Greek providers. And the zoo says they're optimistic that the zoo would be able to reopen its doors to the public in the second week of May. Very cute. Very a reason for optimism.
Yeah.
See things like that.
Baby lemurs.
You can't go wrong with baby lemurs. All right, that's all the time we have. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.